Come on in, everybody. Welcome in. We're just rolling on the river. So, how is everybody? This morning we have kind of an odd setup. Let me bring my microphone back over to me. We have an odd setup today. You're like, what in the world is going on, Lauren? You have two people going on right here. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. We are going to be doing our interview through Instagram. So if you have not followed me yet on Instagram, the thing is going to be on Instagram. If you want to watch it on Instagram, that's fine. But on TikTok, we are going to be recording it this way. So I'm excited to get this party started. I think Lorraine is about ready. How is everybody? Are you guys ready for today's request? Because it's going to be awesome. It is Lorraine Gibson, you guys. If you guys have not yet followed her, go follow this wonderful lady. She's going to be talking to us today. Never been able to do this before. Whoa! Hello!
There you are.
I'm here. It is. We are filming on Instagram. And we're also filming on TikTok, so we're getting you both. I mean, you're gonna get both today. You got Instagram.
Oh my gosh.
But I'm excited.
I'm so excited to talk to you. I love you.
Thank you so much. I love your content too. Oh, let's get us ready to make sure that we're recording on both. We have people in the chat on Instagram. We are doing a lot of people, but you know what? It's really cool to finally do this with you because I know you're all the way in the UK, aren't you? And
I am, yeah. I'm right on the south coast. It's sunny.
Yeah, well, it's raining here, which is why I hate that it's raining and dreary for once. But you know what? It's okay.
Where are you?
I'm at like an hour from Memphis, but I live in Arkansas, which is weird to say. Arkansas is kind of a weird state that people don't like to. They say it's very country, but I think Memphis is just as country as Arkansas. I'm sorry, I've seen it. Been to both, exactly. Been to both, have seen it. I love it. But anyway, we're gonna get in here, introduce everybody. Welcome in, everybody. We are doing this Sunday morning coffee chat with my beautiful friend here, Lorraine Gibson. Am I saying it correct? I hope so. Okay. I hope I'm saying it correctly. And she's got her Elvis shirt on, and we are big Elvis fans, and I'm going to let her...
My Elvis book.
And her Elvis book. Yes! She is going to have to talk all about this, and I'm so excited. So excited. Well, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into, like, Elvis. How'd you find the man himself? I mean, this is the main question that we always got to ask.
All right. So my mum and dad were the same age as Elvis.
Yep.
They're both gone now.
Yeah.
But so I was brought up with Elvis songs, records, everything like that. And I watched his films as a kid, and my mom would say, "Go out in the sunshine. What are you doing?
Go outside and play, right?"
And I was sort of addicted to it, even as a kid, like all his colourful outfits. You know, I realised with time that they were wardrobe costumes and things like that. Yes. But I just loved what he wore. And I say in my book, who needed a Barbie doll when you had a singing, dancing All-American, which was really unusual boy on your screen. So he was like my fascination. And as I got older, I got more into like Bowie and all different things like that, but I still loved playing Elvis. And my dad used to sing Elvis. He sang all the songs. He loved him. He even had a little quiff when he was getting engaged to my mom. So they loved Elvis. So I loved Elvis.
See,
my sisters did.
That's how I got started. Me and my mother are like the mother-daughter team that won. Like, I don't know if you've been following my YouTube or TikTok. I mean, we were the mother-daughter that were out to beat, which is why I'm so glad on Sirius XM when I won the Elvis quiz show is when that was. Yes, and this is so cool that your mother is your inspiration because my mother and my grandmother are my massive inspiration when it comes to. Yes, absolutely. Well, actually.
Kind of torch carrying, isn't it now?
Yes, it is. It's kind of like it keeps going, and then like the next generation.
My girls love it. My girls love Elvis now.
Really?
So it's all cool. Yeah, it's all good. Full circle.
Oh, that is just too cool. That is just way too cool because me and my mother went to so many times to Graceland. I don't know how many times we went. Probably 20 plus times and stayed at Heartbreak Hotel. I don't know how long you've ever been going to Graceland.
No,
you don't remember Heartbreak?
Told me about that.
Oh, you have not been to Heartbreak Hotel yet.
I thought it closed.
It closed, but I'm saying that you've never been to it, so you didn't get a chance to see in it is what I meant. And you missed a lot, and a lot of people miss that old style because Heartbreak Hotel was just like literally couches that were like just so decked out in gold, and then they had swivel chairs and gold. Like the whole place was Elvisized, and this is why this is why I love it.
Yeah, my friend told me about that, and she said you would have loved it.
Yes.
Peabody.
Yes,
I did love the Peabody, I have to say. I loved it there. But I wish I had seen the Heartbreak Hotel.
See, being a groovy, like, decked out person, I swore you would have been able to been in there, because, like, been able to chance to see it.
Because all over it. Gold sofas, give me them.
I know, that's what I was like. That's why I'm surprised. I'm absolutely surprised that the new big hotel did not do anything like fancy with that or used any of the old furniture. They could have turned the old furniture from Heartbreak Hotel into what it is now, and I don't know why they didn't do that, but I don't know. So I know
someone will one day.
Maybe we're getting off a whole track here. I don't know where, but I love because anybody who talks about Elvis with me, you know me, we're gonna like go off on the rails. But today we have a very special guest, and I have actually made some notes because I want to talk to you about these questions. I just have got to ask us first. As we've already stated, you have been to Memphis, and I see on a lot of your videos, you've been to the Peabody, Land Skis, the Arcade Restaurant, the Blues Hall of Fame, Sun Records, the birthplace of Aretha Franklin. I mean, Beale Street and Martin Luther King's balcony. Is that 100%?
All correct. And Stax. And I was looking for American Sound Studio, but it's gone. And,
yes.
We were everywhere.
You were everywhere. How many days did you stay in Memphis? How many? Because
we did all that in 5 days.
In 5 days?
One of the days, I think the 5th day we were traveling because you can't get a direct flight to Memphis from the UK.
You can't, so that makes sense.
Yeah, so we did a long flight with changes and then got there and just said, run, get to everything.
Get to where we gotta go right now. I love
tourism. I spoke to them. We arranged the trip ourselves, but Memphis Tourism were brilliant because I said to them, I want to walk where Elvis walked. I don't just want to see the attractions. I want to be where he was, and I want to. Can Grayson lean on the door and things? Can I touch stuff that he touched? And they said, here's a list, and they gave me. I wasn't so sure. I knew about the Arcade Restaurant. I wasn't sure where it was, and another couple of things. Unfortunately, they gave me Slave Haven, and I didn't get there in the end. So, but we did Lauderdale Court and everything. So I can do it all when I come back.
That is going to be so cool, though. You got like the mega tour when you did that. You did that was a mega tour. I've never even. I lived 2 hours, and I still have never visited half that stuff that's in there. Like, I want to know where you found the birthplace of Aretha Franklin. Like, I got to see that one day. And
this was amazing. So when we arrived, we wanted to walk everywhere because we walk everywhere where we live. But a lot of people said, probably not a great idea in certain places, you know.
Yep.
So we met a guy called Ray who became our driver. Nothing posh.
Yeah, but yeah.
So he drove us around. So on the way I also went to Overton Park because I wanted to meet Cole early to ask about, you know, all the screaming and how that amphitheater amplifies the sound. And anyway, I get too geeky and too boring.
Yeah.
I'll stop. But Ray said he was bringing us back from Graceland, I think it was. I can't remember. We did something, and he said we'd been to where's the Blues Museum with the big Aretha Franklin artwork on the wall. I mean, I was talking about that and how blown away we were by it. He said, "Do you want to see a house?" And I said. He said, her childhood house. It will be the most sobering thing you've ever seen.
Are you serious?
Take us right now. And he said, are you sure? It's all a bit run down. Absolutely.
Wow.
And literally held onto the fence and looked at Aretha Franklin's. Such a humble little shack. It's the Elvis origins.
Yes.
I try and explain in my book. Everybody knows Elvis was born in a shack. They don't know he had to piss in the back door, and you know he had to go outside to the toilet and all of this kind of thing, and his parents had no home. Gladys and Bernard didn't even have a house.
No.
So I wanted people in the book to know that about him, to see how even more incredible his success is. But Aretha's was amazing. You know, you think sometimes life is so hard.
Yes.
You just become astonishing. Yes. If you can, and it happens with a few people. Yep. And she was one, and he was one.
Yes, so, and they came from a little shot house. Didn't they call them? What was it? A shotgun house?
Yeah, the shotgun shack, and that was hers looked smaller.
Smaller than Elvis's? Wow.
Yeah. And they had. It was called a shotgun shack because it was just either one room, usually two, just with a door at the beginning and end. And it was like it was to let the cool breeze in.
Yes, it
But
was.
actually, you could also fire a shotgun through it
Yep.
if you felt inclined.
Yep, that's exactly, yes, exactly. So
that was really humbling to see that and think, my God, she must have looked back and thought, you know, my roots are so important.
Yes.
To give you that emotion and the feelings. I mean, I say about Elvis, you know, when he sang "If I Can Dream,"
yes,
on the '68 special,
yes,
I say that it was like it was pent up fury almost that came out of him, because he was angry about the events, that, like, you know, the Bobby Kennedy, Martin Luther King in his hometown.
Yeah.
But he'd also been like bullied and maligned, and a lot of like kind of bits. And I felt like "If I Can Dream" was his moment of fury to release it all. And I said if an angry angel was to sing, it would be like Elvis was right in that moment.
That's a good point.
Theatrical white and the red scarf like a bleeding heart. And I'm like, when I first saw that and him singing it, I couldn't believe it.
That makes sense now. I can vision that. I can see what you're talking about. That Elvis was dazzling and glowing in purity of white, and the Chrisman necktie was like the blood. And I'm like, some of these people giving you these reviews, when I read that about this, I'm like, wow, what's in this book? I gotta know what's in this book. And this is why I had to have you here, because the words of describing Elvis in the '68 special is immaculate. The way that people have described your book about saying things about Elvis, seeing Elvis and the vision of Elvis, I can imagine it right now. I really can, because I looked at Elvis as a '68 special like more of a aggravated time in his life, where he was more like held back kind of, but yet he was ready to fly and flourish. So when somebody described him being so dazzling and appeared so white like a glowing angel, I'm like, you know what? That ending is kind of like all too. Like he's ready to amp up his arm. He's ready to fly, and he's ready to go.
Like the arm's swinging, isn't it? He's like, come on, listen, and he's crouched as if he's in pain.
Yes, and I get it now. When we jumped so many questions that I had, but I'm glad that we jumped right to the main point, because we have to talk about her book. But tell us about your book a little bit. Tell us the title and where you got inspiration. Tell us more about that before we get into it, because I got questions about it.
Okay, so I just finished my previous book, which is nothing like Elvis in any way. And my girls were saying, yeah, Mom, who are you going to write about next? And I said, oh, it's too much work. The only person I'd want to write about is maybe, and they said, Elvis. And I said, yeah. I said, there's so many books on him, you know, they're everywhere. Yeah. And I thought, I'd love to write about his fashion. Anyway, because I felt that his outfits, having watched them as a child, dazzled, then I felt they defined his eras as much as his music did. And I think often it was a suit of armour, because he was always so insecure, and always, it was a bit like imposter syndrome he would have sometimes. He told a reporter that he was frightened to go to sleep because he would wake up and find it was a dream. I thought some of those outfits were bravado, like kind of,
yes,
if you know, I'm wearing this, I knew that they defined them. You can look at any Elvis outfit and you can say Eagle's Nest, you know, 1955 or whatever. You can pinpoint it. In the 70s, my God, one of my favourite outfits ever was the cutaway brown suit at Barbara Streisand's opening night at the International Hotel, and he's what shirt?
Yes.
And the silver turquoise Mexican belt, and it's the attitude, and he is laughing his head off walking along. But again, he didn't cover himself up with the suits, because the clothes didn't make the man there. He made the clothes.
That's right.
At all times.
That's right.
This is why I wanted it to be about fashion. But then I realised you can't write about Elvis's fashion without writing his life story again. But I wanted it for people, the real fans. They know everything. They know me, Farrell like me and love the book, but they didn't need to know what I was telling them. I wanted to tell it in a fresh, modern way for the new people as well, who say, I love it. My girls saw the movie and they said, oh my God. And I said, what was Austin Butler like? He can't play Elvis. How could he play Elvis?
Yep, that's right.
They pulled me there to see it, and I was like, I'm just going to eat my hat now. He's amazing. He is Elvis. He did brilliantly.
He did a great job. Absolutely.
Yeah, so I ended up writing the story for a lot of people who were then online newbies, saying, have you seen Elvis? Have you seen the film? I love him. I'm going to look into his life more.
Yeah.
That's the story. Here's it live. Here's the clothes you even recognise if you've never ever seen any of these movies or anything. And here's the stories behind the clothes.
Wow.
And so it turned out a much bigger project than I thought. But I loved every minute of it. So, and then I was kind of midway, and I was saying, I need to go to Memphis because I need to be nearer.
Yes.
And I need to talk to Hal Lansky.
Yes.
Lansky, who dressed Elvis.
That's right.
Bernard Lansky did. He put Elvis in his first suit and he put him in his last.
That's a good point. That's a very good point.
There, and talked to them, and it just became a much bigger thing. And Hal has written the foreword for my book and gave me access to their family.
That is so cool. I saw that on the front of your book. I'm like, that is so cool. That is really cool.
Oh. So I went to Lansky's and I've got this to show you. So this is one of my favourite things I got in Lansky's. That's the pouch.
Oh,
it's the Elvis buckle.
Oh, I love that. Oh, yes. I need that in my life. Yes, I'm going to be getting me one of them. Yes, and it goes with the shirt. Yes.
Yeah. But to buy things from the family that Elvis bought from blew my mind anyway. So I wanted to get the outfits right and for the right eras. And I sort of knew, being a bit nerdy, geeky, so seeing them made Memphis brought it all together. And when I walked into Wasteland, I was so excited. I sort of kind of skipped up the stairs, and then I was completely taken aback and started to cry. Like what? And when I walked in and I saw the picture of him blonde on the stairs with his natural blonde hair.
Yes, that's a great photo.
I didn't take it in for quite a while. And then just walking on, and everything was complete. I could see him in the setting. I could feel, Hal took me into the original Beale Street shop behind the scenes. He let us go in and showed us all around there. So a lot went into it regarding the fashion, but it made the story move as well. We moved on because Lansky's had nothing to do with the jumpsuits.
Yes, obviously. They did. That's right.
Oh, Elvis and the Lansky stuff is the best. That's his favourite.
Yes, it is. That's what I was going to add on to what you're saying. Is Lansky's? I've never been there, but I've heard. This is actually from Marlowe's. Okay, this is not the real thing. This is Marlowe's. Okay, cheating, you guys. I'm cheating. Anyway, no, this is from Marlowe's, but I've never been to Lansky's. And when you said that he actually worked with Baz and Austin on getting Elvis's outfits right, I about died because that is true, right? He worked with Baz and Austin to get the suits right.
With Baz and Austin in Lansky's at the counter looking at the gear.
Yes, that's right. Okay, cool.
So he advised Catherine and Martin. They also, they came and looked all through the archives and he advised them on what Beale Street looked like and everything like that as well. So, because the story of Elvis, being on Beale Street and sticking out like a sore thumb.
Yes.
Not just because he was like a scruffy little kid, because he was black. He was white and in a black street. And Bernard Lansky was like, who is this weird kid that keeps looking in our window? So it all went from there. But so that all of that is just so interesting. And I don't know where to end because there's all so much. Oh, that's what I was going to say. So Catherine and Baz. Baz and Austin went to Lansky's. Catherine emailed and contacted them.
Oh, okay.
And between them, they came up with not just the Vegas jumpsuits, which were amazing.
Yes, the Vegas
90
ones.
Of them. They also did all of their high collared. Like the purple velvet suit. Yes. You've seen the film, I assume.
Yes, 5 times.
When he fought, they pushed him into the ice bucket.
Yes.
The velvet. So they advised on the Bill Bellew outfits as well. But it's a lovely. I don't know if you've heard of them. A lovely little family business. Without looking it up, I think it's Charlestown or Charlottesville. I can't remember. I'm really sorry. But they're called B&K Enterprises. And they made those jumpsuits. And that is a story in my book that is just unbelievable. That's just a couple who were Elvis fans. And
I didn't know that.
And they had their little boy, a friend made their little boy a little mini Elvis jumpsuit.
What?
They wondered if they could make a couple of adult ones to take to their fan club for fun. They made 2 adult ones.
Yeah.
The husband went out to the DIY store and bought nail heads and things like that and made, I think, the Starbust, one of those. And they went to, somebody said, you should go to Memphis. Loads of fans meet in Memphis and they'd like to see this. They went, long story short, an Elvis impersonator, an ETA, who they didn't even know such a thing existed. He said, we were like, we felt like we'd been kicked by a cow. That was his words. And he said, this guy came up and said, I love these, I want to buy them.
Wow.
And from then on, they have now got a big business. They dressed Bill Murray, they dressed Miley Cyrus, so many people in these jumpsuits. Bruno Mars and his group for Christmas Eve. And they supplied all the Austin outfits, and they are spectacular. And they had Jean Doucette, the guy who does all the embroidery, he worked with them, and Bill Belew gave them his designs, the permission to use them.
Wow, so that is cool. That's something I have never known.
Elvis, the connections are everywhere.
Yes, and it's so cool because Memphis is a little tiny town, but it's not like this tiny. It's not that tiny. People think, oh, it's just Memphis right across. No. If you dive deep into it, we got Beale Street, we got the restaurants, we got a lot of places that Elvis used to hang out. Absolutely.
I know these huge stars from there. I mean, because it's broken up the vibes from like Howlin' Wolf, B.B. King, and all of that thing. And so how everything came from Little Memphis, the Motherlode.
Yeah.
You know, it's amazing. But I think a lot of it's the Mississippi, the Deep South, all the influences washing up the Mississippi Delta, right in there. Because Beale Street used to be sort of like pimps and gamblers.
Yes, exactly. That is right.
What place it would have been then for Elvis? Because I said something about, without reading it, I can't remember, but I said he saw the juke joint, he saw like the record store.
Yes.
He comes from kind of like, you know, fake rag and all
that's it.
And I said Elvis saw the light, but it was neon.
That's interesting. I know. I could only imagine him just like walking down Beale Street and thinking like, you know what? I own this place. Sorry, but I almost said that. Like, I own this place. This is mine. This is my territory. Because it's almost like it's like with Arkansas. Johnny Cash is the main man from here, and it's there's another one. Oh, there's another man. Yeah. See.
My dad also loved him. I think he was my dad's all-time favorite.
And see, he came from a little tiny shack just like Aretha Franklin. And literally, you can go and see it. You can just walk right through. You don't even have to pay tickets or anything. That's how uncheap this is in Arkansas. I want to go see it.
Arkansas as well now.
Yes, it's really cool because it's just a little tiny, but you get to see these decorations. They put in like old decorations and make it look like Johnny Cash was there, and then his guitar's hanging on the wall. It's beautiful, but there's like only a security guard. It's not much like there's really there. It's a small little shack. And I love them.
I love the humble beginnings.
Yeah,
I love to see that because the success and the achievements and so much more.
Yes.
How they managed it, you know.
I think
your talent and
yes,
you know, personality and charisma and everything.
And they had that, and a lot of people in that era have it for sure because like it's
in the water.
Yes, it's like it runs deep in the South. I don't know what it is. A lot of the Southern artists that are still to this day that are still big names came from a little tiny place of nothingness, and I love it. But I want to jump to like we've been all over the place, but one of the things I really want to talk about is her book because her book is eye-opening to me for sure because one of the things that I actually picked up, which is so cool, great minds think alike. We must have thought alike because in this exact moment when I was I listened to some of your book and there was a part in there where they were talking about his belt buckle and how Elvis used to wear his belt buckle to the right, and nobody in the States knows what that means. I have asked so many people, but my dad's a mechanic, so yes, I do know exactly what it means. That's where I'm going with it. My dad's a mechanic, and he also used to work with my grandpa, who was also a mechanic and worked on trains.
So
they would know. But some people who have no idea, let me just tell this out for the people, that there was a part in Elvis's book her book where it says that Elvis would wear his belt to the left, not to the right, to the left is what it used to. Maybe I said it wrong. Weird.
Always to the side.
Always.
I think mainly the left for unbuckling, but I think always to the side anyway.
Always to the side in general. It's just Yes, let's just state that. But here's where I come into this, because I actually, as a kid, thought about this. When I was growing up, I saw his belt on this. Yes, I did. And this is the weirdest thing to me, because I'm not even this old, but I studied and I saw the way his outfit was. And I was always like, I want to wear my belt like that. And I'd always cock it off the side. Now, today, fast forward to right now, here, I read it last night, and it said that mechanics used to move it off to the side so that it wouldn't scratch the paint or even damage any of the scratching of the car. And I'm like, what a mind-blowing experience to think that Elvis actually took something from his early days. Those are really, really early days. Yes. So tell us about this.
And he thought that's a good idea because he didn't want to scratch his guitar.
Exactly.
Because in those days, you couldn't buy all the guitars you wanted. No. You know, it was this precious single guitar, and he thought, I know what I'm going to do.
And he used it for his guitars instead of the cars, although he probably used it on his cars, but it was a guitar. More than likely, but it's a mechanical thing. And he grew up as an early mechanic. Yes. Oh my God, look how cute that is. It's a little tiny Legos. I love Legos. Elvis needs to get up on this Lego kit. He really does. Like, I need a Lego Elvis kit. Do you know what I mean? We need a Lego Elvis kit out here somewhere. But no, back to the cars though. I love, what's your favorite car when you went to study Graceland and you went to study last week we talked about like the 50s decade and how they love pink Cadillacs. But what did you like?
I saw something where you mentioned the Black Continental.
Yes. Is that it? That's my favorite car. One of my favorite cars, along with it's the Seahawk something or Hawk.
Oh, no, I want to say Black Hawk.
Black Hawk, I think it is, but it's Black Hawk. It's something Black Hawk, but it's the old one that was. Yes.
No. Yeah. Oh, you see, the boys would know.
Yes. You know what's funny? Because my dad knows nothing about Elvis, but he knows all the cars. Exactly. Studebaker was one that he did have one, but it was. I think that was also. But I swear it was a Black Hawk.
To look that up. I should know that.
But what is your favorite car?
I do like the Continental, and I love the one that he collected when he was so young, and there's a really good picture of him getting the keys from the guy. Was that was a Continental as well, wasn't it? Mark.
Maybe maybe it's not the Cadillacs though, is it?
Yeah, it was a Cadillac. Yeah.
Was it the early one that was the white one before the pink one? Yes, there it is. Because we were yes.
Pick up when he was having a little fling with June Juanico.
Yes.
And he went and collected it and then told her to come and see it.
Yes, that's it.
You said something about it. It looks like a dad would drive it. A hot, sexy dad.
A hot, sexy dad gets out of the car. It's what I look at every time I see that, and that's the way it is. I look at him and I'm like, he's a sexy dad in this video, and he's that era. That's that era of Elvis. Elvis was, I don't know what kind of era in the 70s he thought he was, but he was definitely a sexy-looking dad who could drive one of those big old Continental cars. I love them. Yeah. Man, those are gorgeous. I can't get over a lot of people who don't like, the pink Cadillac because it was very flamboyant for his age. Well, come on. Do you look at the 50s and not see bright colors, pinks, like oranges?
He was, he didn't care. He wore eyeshadow. He didn't care. He did what he liked. And also, he got the pink one, really, for Gladys, even though she couldn't drive.
She couldn't drive, exactly. I love that.
Somebody painted it especially for him, and they called the colour rose pink.
I'm not 100% sure, but Cece, who talked to, was my very first guest on here. She mentioned that what they did is they took a grape and they smashed it on there to make a grape looking for the grape car. Remember, or the purple car? He smashed that grape on there. I don't know what he did for the pink Cadillac. I'd like to know it. He just walk in there and be like, I want a pink Cadillac. You think he just signed off on it? I have no idea. But I just would like to have known a guy in the 50s buying a pink Cadillac. He got a lot of slack for that. He really did.
He wore pink and he wore a lace shirt. He wore women's satin fabric shirt. Yes. Still looked like it would have been like an alien arriving because all the boys wore what their dads wore.
Yes.
And I think Red West. I think it was him that said in Hume's High. Yeah. With hair and everything, and he's like sort of black trousers with a chartreuse piping down the side. He said. In a sea of crew cuts and white t-shirts, Elvis stood out like a giraffe in the Arctic or something like that.
I could see that. I could definitely see that.
He just wore what he liked, and he liked nice clothes. But he trusted Bill Billy to make outfits for him. Bill Billy knew that Elvis loved Marlon Brando, and he loved on his motorbike with his black leather. So he said, have you ever worn black leather? Let's do that. And he said, yeah, okay. But he never wore that again because it was too hot.
Yeah. The 68 special is great, but that I can see how that would be too hot. That I don't know. I've had leather on, but I couldn't do the dancing and the singing like he does. Yeah, thank you. With all that, I don't understand all that. But I want to talk about what is your favorite suit then? If you look at it, what's your favorite suit from Elvis's? That besides is it just the brown one, or is there another one that stands out in your mind?
I actually really like the white If I Can Dream suit.
You like that one, really?
Yeah, I love that because it reminds me of a southern gentleman, like a bit his roots, but protest against the conceived ideals.
I never thought about that.
For that reason, that's a bit deep, but I just liked what he looked like. He was glowing. And speaking of that, I also like the first fringe, not the really long one that you used to get tangled up in, but the fringe with the coloured wooden beads.
Oh, like the beads that were right here, or were they longer, or was it? Oh, they were just like right on his chest, the chest beads, right? Okay, was that?
Quite simple.
Yes. Yes.
Sean Waiting the Wings. Again, he looked almost ultraviolet, because he was so. All the backing singers were with them. All the guys were in their nice little suits, but he's just glowing. And then I love the Mexican sundial for its mystic. People believe. Have you heard about this?
I have heard about this, but tell for people who haven't heard about it, because I know a lot of people haven't. This is interesting.
Okay. So the sunburst, people sometimes call it the pizza cirque. It looks like it's got a pizza slapped on it. It's got 16 rays.
Yes,
and they're split by the front zip. So either side you've got 8 rays, and then the 16 rays together. So 16 and then 8. 16th of the 8. Some people believe it foretold Elvis's death.
See.
Who knows? But it just has this thing about it. And in the late days, it was one of the few he could wear that was comfortable for him as well. So it's really special. And did you see that at Graceland with the mirrors around it?
No. I haven't seen any. I haven't been since 2013, 14, and the wall was not up yet. I think it came just recently, so I have not seen.
What they've done with that one, they've taken it up away from the wall and put it in a stand on its own.
What?
They've got mirrors all around it behind, so you can see the whole kit and caboodle. It's all there, every detail, and the embroidery up close.
I have never seen that.
I just again because of what it says. But like my very favourite jumpsuits are the 1969 karate styled Cossack. The midnight blue, the black, and the white. They look amazing. I saw the white one really close up at Arches London Bridge, where there's a big of all these things. And that's awesome because he said, give me something I can move around in. And at the time, he was loving the karate.
That's it.
Bill said, and he's like, perfect. And then it just became increasingly more ornate.
Wow.
Again, this guy went to the toilet in the woods. This boy and his mummy lost their home.
Yes.
And were one itinerant trying to find a home. Gladys, her family was so poor that the Gladys and her siblings kept their shoes on with pig snout irons, and they chewed snuff to stave off hunger. They had no home. They wanted an itinerant family to find work sharecropping. So, no wonder he wanted bling. Give me everything. Give me 500 cars.
The bright, the shining, the lights.
Diamond.
Like that. The bright, the shining. Yes.
He'll never again. He promised them, and he said, that's it.
Wow.
So I think there's the count. But my favourites were those simplistic. And he was at his peak, wasn't he? He was so
yes,
clean.
that's what I was going to add to this. He's at his peak. Yes.
Yeah, 69, 70, just looking fantastic. But no matter what he wears, even that famous moment when he sings Unchained Melody, when Charlie's like guiding him to the piano,
yes.
You're watching, holding your breath, aren't you? He's teetering like a darted giraffe almost. It's like,
yes.
And he's gonna fall. And then he sits down, and the piano's like a junkyard, isn't it?
Yes, with all the mugs and stuff.
And then out comes the power of that voice. This sick man, clearly, suffering, and he sings with a power. It was the last in the tank. Where did he get it from?
I don't know.
All that athleticism of the voice still there, And at the end, he gives a little smile like a kid, like, I did it. I did it.
He did. I never thought about that. That's a good way to think about it. I did not know that. It's cute.
So, yeah, you did ask. I do go on. Sorry.
No, you're fine. No. I just didn't know that. I forgot. I didn't think about when he did that at the end when he smiled. He gave a look like I actually finished. Did I do this really? Did I really do this for sure? And that's it. I get it now. I didn't know that. See, that's a little detail is that people don't realize about Elvis, and it's the tiny things. And you pick it up, I pick it up. A lot of people pick it up, and I think Elvis was kind of just let it be out there. Like he didn't care what he wore, he didn't care what he drove, he didn't care any of that kind of stuff. He just wanted to sing and perform and be his own individual, which is really cool. Because if I go back to my favorite suits, like if I tell you my favorite suits, and I have a list of them, there's only like 4 of them, but I had to remember them. The chain suit. I love the chain suit with the chains. I love the black leather, of course, in 1968. Sometimes of the black, not the black suits. Remember the velvet suit, the black velvet suit. That's what I meant. Not leather, black velvet suit. And my favorite one is the one in, I think it's a gypsy suit, if I'm not mistaken. The gypsy one with the dangling, like the gaudy neck and stuff like that, and it even has the choker that Elvis wore. Yes.
Like a rope.
Yes, and it's gaudy. And yes, those are my 3 favorite suits.
Oh, yeah. The conch. No. I think that's the Cossack, and that's the neck piece that he wears with it. And he ties it, doesn't he? They're gold,
yes,
and pearls in it.
Okay, so that's you do. Okay, I didn't know what that was. I didn't know what.
Sketch of that up on the wall in Graceland that Bill Billard, when he drew it, and then there's a picture of Elvis walking in it, and it's spectacular. So yeah, I love that.
Those are like the gaudy suits. Those are more along the lines that I like them. But don't get me wrong, I still love the white suit, the 70s suits, the like early stuff. He looked.
I tell you what was amazing.
What?
That's when you knew he didn't give a damn what anybody thought what he wore. The sky blue suit with the navy trim and the floral shirt when he was at conference.
Yes.
At Madison Square Gardens, and he walks in, and he is tanned like a fingernail, and he walks in, and he's got this. The whole room is dressed in khaki and beige, and they're like, ugh.
And he's coming in there with like, yes. He's coming in there like an angel with the big wings and everything. I love his outfit. That was so. Why did he need a coat this big? It stood up about off his shoulders.
Yes. And he's wearing a kind of black diamond the size of a wallet.
Yes.
And then this woman, she's really bitchy, and she's a journo.
Yeah.
Sorry, no. So she says, Elvis, would you say that you're a humble individual? And he said, I don't know. Look at this. And he stands up, and he then just opens a jacket and shows her the gold belt.
Yes, the gold. Those are my favorite. Like when Elvis he wasn't so. It's weird because he's not as flamboyant as he looks. Because literally on the outside, it's just a suit, right? It's just like he has a suit, he has a jacket on. But when he stands up and unbuttons it, that's where the show is. It's like bam, and I'm like, wow. You see the like.
I'm really humble.
Yeah. Exactly. Oh, I'm really humble. That's funny.
That belt, I held that.
You held that. Yes, I saw pictures. I saw your pictures. Tell us about this. How did you like that? Was it pretty, or was it still all intact, or what? I've never seen.
Everything about it was like perfection. It's clearly been looked after. So
yeah.
So you could go in and do this VIP experience. They do it at Graceland as well, and you wear the white gloves.
See, I haven't had this.
Hold the 69 gold mic, and that was, I was so frightened I was going to drop it, but I was like, just in awe. And then I got to hold his the Neo style glasses with the EP. It's taking care of business.
The TCB, yes.
Yeah. So, and my hands were shaking. I was so scared I broke them. And the guy says, I hold them up and look through them. And when I looked through them, I could see. So I thought, I'm telling everybody I've got the same prescription as Elvis.
Really? So they're prescription glasses? They're not just sunglasses.
Yeah,
they're
because he had glaucoma and he really struggled. People say, why is he wearing shades all the time?
Yeah.
When he visits Nixon and everything. He really struggled with his eyes.
I didn't think about that. Yeah. That would make sense why he would do that.
But the gold belt was the last, that was the pièce de résistance. And I was like, please don't let me drop this. And it was quite heavy because it's silver, actually.
It is.
Gold plated on top. Just holding it, this isn't made up. I just had to kind of imagine him just slinging it round his hips. Nowhere specific, no memory of anything I've seen. When I held it, I obviously talked myself into that, but I felt like I could feel it, like that. And I just said, let me just take a breath for a minute. And I walked away thinking, it's amazing that people can do that touch these things, it's incredible because they're so precious. You think, not even a chance, and they were just like handling it very, not carelessly, with respect, but but it was a rigorous thing. It was quite hefty and it's quite heavily engraved. And I don't know if one of the pictures that you saw that I posted, I'm asking people along the belt, every panel, those square blocks, like connected with chains, each one has a creature on it because they always loved animals, as we know. All sorts of animals.
I didn't know that they were on. They're on the little belt, like in between, like the little.
Yeah, so you've got the big gold belt, and it's got the big chunky front.
Yes.
It looks like a wrestler or a boxer. Championship belt. The rest of the belt is square panels that are embossed with. There's a hound dog. There's like a bird of prey, what looks like a mountain lion, there's an elephant. So they have these creatures, all that Elvis loved. That was like, so the Hilton made the belt for him because he broke all the attendance records of all time.
Yeah.
So they made it and thought, what would he like? Yes, he'd like these things, these animals on it. But there's one animal on there, and it's a few panels in. There's lots of pictures online, so if any of your fans, and I know you've got loads, and so you should have, if they know what this creature is, nobody can identify it. I asked the guys at Archer's London Bridge, and they knew everything about everything. They were telling me what was inscribed on the back of these Rolex that was there, but they said, we don't know what that is either. So there's a big mystery around that. So if anybody could tell us,
I've never seen it. I've never even seen I never even got to hold the items. I'm the last generation that didn't. That before all this stuff.
You need to ring them tomorrow.
I know.
Do you just say, do you know who I am? You need to let me in to hold these things.
I would love to. I mean, I'm 2 hours away. I'd love to meet, because I know you have to have a special ticket for that, because there's also, you're going through.
Yeah, it's not cheap, I'll tell you that, but as a one-off experience.
Because I don't need to go through the house. I've already seen the house a million times, but can you just go through that little separate area?
I guess you probably could. Just swan in, wear a big hat, and say, "Take me to the VIP area."
I need to see this. I at least want to hold something of Elvis's. I mean, I don't know how many people you have met of Elvis's like friend group, but like as far as like mafia or girlfriends or whatever, I've only met like George Klein, Linda Thompson, and only. She picked up on my only. No, but only those and then George Klein was my very first one when we won the radio show. George Klein was amazing, and I also met who else was Big Jim. When I was on the radio show, I met Big Jim, of course, and Argo and all of them, and they talked about it. But what's his name? George Klein comes in and he forgot something from the radio show the night before, and he saw me sitting there, and I had my Elvis shirt on, and I had a cast on my arm because I broke it, and he's like, "Hi," and he goes, "Hi, how are you? You must be an Elvis fan." And I'm like, "Yeah," with my broken arm, and I went like that, and he shook my hand, and oh my god, I love meeting him. And Linda Thompson. Linda Thompson was at the first time I ever seen Dean in concert at the Elvis Week when I was there for only 2 days. I missed it, but I got to meet her walking out of the hotel, and it was just kind of like a quick incident. I didn't take a picture, I didn't do anything. I just needed to meet her and give her a big old hug, and she's so sweet.
Oh, how lovely! She seems nice.
But you've met. I'm sure you've being writing about Elvis books. You've never met anybody. You've never like dove.
No, none of the famous ones. Hal's the most famous, I guess.
Yeah, Hal is great because he freaking dressed Elvis for all those years. I mean, he's amazing too. I've never met Lil.
That's in the book. He used to. He used to take bunches of clothes up in the van, the Lansky's van, to Graceland for Elvis to try on, but because by that time he couldn't go shopping, or he would be more all the time. So they used to originally open the shop about midnight so he could go in, but even that stopped working. So Hal would take the latest trends up to Elvis, because they were doing concerts till really late. They would all the guys would sleep till about 4 in the afternoon. They would have breakfast at 4 in the afternoon.
Yep, I heard that too.
Hal would arrive in the morning, and what was so sweet is Gladys would let him in and say, "Oh, just take them up to Elvis's bedroom and leave them up there, and then come down and get something to eat."
Wow!
But no, Linda Thompson and George Klein get back to George Klein. I love his quote. He said, Elvis wasn't just a superstar, he was the whole damn galaxy. And he seemed like genuinely fond of him, and Linda as well.
Linda,
so,
like...
maybe I'll meet some people this time. I've also met Betty Harper. But
there's somebody, I've never...
She's the official Elvis artist.
Oh, I've never met her.
All the Elvis art that you see in Graceland and in posters, and it's like contemporary. She's really cool.
Have you seen any of the ETAs? Like, have you been to their shows?
No.
No?
I've got a thing about ETAs.
You were going.
It needs to be Elvis.
Well, weren't you at Elvis Week one of these last few times, and you didn't get a chance to come over here?
No.
Oh, because during Elvis Week,
Memphis, it was March.
Oh, see, yeah, okay, then that makes sense then, because they do a show usually, a Dean Z, Cody DeNeo, and the Jada Primus, all those top guys are do a show like after. Yeah. I don't know, but I didn't know if you saw it, and I was wondering if you liked any of them. But ETAs are okay to me. I wasn't a big fan of ETAs.
I say again. I say that there's a massive place for them.
Yeah,
they carry the torch as well. They and the good, the bad, and the ugly. No matter how. And I know some of them are really good. Loads of people really rate Dean Z.
Dean Z, yeah.
Do you say Z?
Dean Z. It's just a Z. Yeah.
We say Z.
Z? That's interesting.
So I don't know why you all say Z in England. Well, I'm Scottish, but So. But yes, I get them.
Yeah.
But it's the same with everybody. Somebody does an Amy Winehouse thing or whatever it is. I need the real person, even if I can't have them. But I admire them, and I know how brilliant they are at a lot of them actually, almost emulating Elvis. But I think trying to capture the essence of him is like trying to capture sunlight in your hands, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
But they keep his heritage alive.
Yes, they do.
They carry the torch, and they do a good job, and people love the music, and they want to hear it. And I know a very, very sweet person on TikTok called Sweet Birdie. She's lovely.
Yeah.
And her nan left her all her Elvis memorabilia when she passed, and she's now created a tribute room to her nan. And she misses her so much, but she goes to see Dean Z.
Oh, yeah.
And it kind of gladdens her heart.
Oh, yeah.
So, I would never criticize any of them. Bring it on. Bring everything Elvis on.
Well, I didn't even know what they were. I mean, I can talk bad about it in a way because I didn't know what they were. All I saw for an ETA are like what we used to call them impersonators. That's what they were called when I grew up. The guy was in a YMCA hall, and he had like a jumpsuit with like lights flying after him, and I'm like, you look really ridiculous, man. Literally a strobe lights of him dancing like, I'm like, and he came out and he gave me yeah, exactly. I was done, and that's why when I went to this Elvis week, I saw how much work these men put into being Elvis, or even just trying to sing. I mean, he's talented on his own. He didn't even have to wear the suit. Dean Z doesn't even have to wear it.
That's what you need. That you can carry it off if you can do that really, really helps. Maybe I'll give him a go then.
Dean is incredible. I would highly recommend him to anybody who would want to see it. He does even after meets. You can meet him afterwards and at least say hi to him. I'm sure he would probably talk to you and love to talk to you about his suits, because Dean only does like the 50s, 60s, and like I know it's all decades, but certain styles, it's like he only does the pink suit or the blue suit or the black suit or those kind of early suits. For the 70s, he only does like the American Eagle. He does some 70s suits, but that's about it. And then the 60s, it's mainly the 68 special, your favorite, the red one, the white one. And I think you'd love it. I really do. But
okay, well, maybe I'll give him a try next time. Maybe I'll talk to Sweet Birdie.
You might have to. Okay. You might have to, because it is really, really cool to see them guys perform and recreate, because I'm a big person like you. I look at every detail. I wasn't a big Austin Butler fan when Austin Butler came out with the movie. I wasn't a fan. I saw him on Disney Channel. I thought he was a goofy ball. But honestly,
I said he'll never do it.
See, exactly. But when I saw him, it did something. It did something.
Did it beautifully and walked away.
Exactly, and I think Elvis would have loved that. See, there's some.
He he would have loved that. He would have. And when Lisa Marie rated it, you know, you knew because she's seen them all. She's seen all of the films.
Oh yeah.
But I like all those fun aspects as well. If you think of, have you seen True Romance, where Val Kilmer is like a cameo Elvis with Clarence? He said, "Always loved you, Clarence, always will," you know. And then in the UK, there's a guy, and he's so popular, and he's a Jewish Elvis, and he's called Elvis Schmelvis.
What?
People go to see him.
So that makes sense.
So you know his. The tentacles are everywhere, aren't they?
But you know what? If he did, they do what they do. That's fine. But I got jaded by him the first time I saw him, and I was not expecting to see all that. So we almost end this. We're in. We got about a few more minutes. But I am talking with Lorraine Gibson. She is an author of Elvis, the King of Fashion. Is that what it says? King of Fashion. Yes, King of... Look at that man. And, look... Oh, yes! Look at that picture. That's one of my favorite pictures. I love that.
Shopping and landscapes.
But he's just so chill. Like, this is what I wanted to throw before we end this, is that his style was impeccable. And one other person that I want to talk about is how, when you were down there, did you see Lisa at all one of these times when you were down at Graceland? Did you ever see this? Like, I thought I saw a video of somebody sent you Lisa being right down in the front. Did you never? Who was that?
No, I only saw. I never saw Lisa. The book had just come out.
The book had just come out. Okay.
Yeah, and I was sitting at home, and the news came in that she had died. And I was like, no, she hadn't died. How can this happen? And it was such a shock. So in the book, it had just finished. You know, I've talked about, like, you know, when Lisa Marie was born and all that sort of stuff. And not too in depth, because it was just a joyful thing. I always loved being a dad.
Yeah. I know what it was. You saw her little baby stuff. That's what I meant. I saw a video of you in this place where this is where I thought you met Lee. I thought she came to this exhibit. This is why I thought she was there, but it's been after she was gone. No. So okay.
That was actually London Bridge again.
Wow.
It was very moving because the first thing you see is Elvis's personal belongings.
Yes.
Again, it's like, oh, this is so cool. That's his comb, and then you actually start thinking about what these things mean, just left behind. And then there's the bottle of. It blew my mind that he wore Brut and High Karate aftershave, like quite cheap makes, you know.
Yep, very easy.
Yep. My dad used to wear Old Spice.
See, yep.
Yeah, and the bottle was 2/3 full.
Really?
And that kind of broke my heart a bit because I thought that he had the last splash of that and he never used the bottle.
Yeah.
And then, you know, within seconds, you walk into this other area and here's Lisa Marie's, all her little, you know, so she'd gone by then because this was...
okay.
And it was so... It stopped me, but it stopped other people in their tracks. I could see people standing there actually crying at the display.
Oh my goodness.
And it was because she had a little pair of white shoes, exactly like his dancing shoes that he wore in the 50s. There's these tiny shoes, and they're all creased at the front, where she'd been walking and skipping in them and things. Yeah. And you just look, like, oh, it's so sad to these... You know, their lives cut short. Gladys, Elvis, Lisa Marie. It's a tragedy, you know, and Ben, and it stopped you in your tracks and has you thinking. Yes,
because when I saw that video of you just walking up to you, I can hear how you just like took a breath, like, wow. Like, this isn't overwhelming, because when I didn't get a chance to see any of this. Like, before Graceland, they didn't have all of Lisa's stuff out. They just had it, like, back up against the wall, and you couldn't see.
We only had exactly the same when I went. You know, I think there's a lot now.
Yes.
Because they know people are so interested and they love her as much as ever.
Well, because of the book coming out, they had to also make that information. Yes.
Yeah.
But I would love to see that. I would love to have seen her little baby shoes. Like, I mean, I know they're so tiny, but she wore them, and I can see in the video she did. It's crazy.
And she must have just been. I don't know. Do you use the word toddling or toddler?
Toddler, yeah, toddler is toddler.
I said, you can see she's been toddling in them. It's a funny word, but they weren't just like pristine, pretty little princess.
No, it was just exactly.
And having a good fun and
exactly.
So but yes, it was the same in Graceland. The experience you had when I went, there was I think there was her baby buggy and a car.
Yes, that's all that was out there.
Against the wall. That was it.
Yeah.
But that's changed.
So how long is that exhibit going to be done? How long is that exhibit going to last in where you're at?
Oh, well, Arches London has closed. They opened for 6 weeks, and they stayed open for a year and a half because people could not stop going back.
Really?
They wanted to see more and more and more because everything was so close up. Because it's quite a small place. It was called the Arches because it's a Victorian
Arch. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Kind of thing. Yeah. So it was very atmospheric, really well lit. Like full on Elvis playing the minute you walk in the door, and you just like. And people just went and said, "No, I need to go back again. I need to go back again." And they kept saying extended opening, extended opening. They kept advertising. They couldn't close. And now there's a big one coming up called Elvis Evolution, and that is a layered reality where you walk through his. You see life through the eyes of Elvis from his like humble birthplace.
Yes.
They're not giving it all away yet. They're keeping it under wraps. But you walk through the dressing room at the back of the '68 comeback show. And you walk through various places where Elvis walked. And I think there's artists and musicians and things involved as well. So this is a big, huge exhibition that's going to be starting up. And they advertised, it opens in May. And they've advertised and now they're saying, extend it till December 25th. Wow. So it's happening again. People just cannot get enough Elvis.
Well, yeah, because he never came over there. Like, he never got a chance to come over there and be with you guys. So this is the closest thing.
He didn't because of the Colonel.
Exactly, and it's the closest thing. You guys are getting a lot of stuff, though, that they need to bring back over to Memphis, because I'd love to see Lisa's exhibit. I would have loved... They need to just have a whole exhibit.
I think they've got that at Graceland now.
They do?
I think that's there because that's all gone back. Because Angie Marchese, she curated Arches London Bridge. It was her who organised, well, I'd her team, I guess.
I did not know that.
What she'd come over. So that was all selected by her. And I think it's all back in Graceland and on show now.
I would love to get down there.
Wrong, so don't take
No, but I'd love to see it because they don't have enough Lisa stuff. They need to have a Lisa exhibit, like just for her own thing. Yeah. I would love to see.
Because in London they had the outfits she wore to different things, like award ceremonies and or premiere, and they had all her outfits as well.
Yes.
So it was a very moving thing.
That is so cool. That is really cool. Well, I have enjoyed talking with you. You are so informational. I love talking with you guys. This is why we do this series, because I want to meet new Elvis people. I want to get the name Elvis out there, because Elvis isn't just like clothes, he's cars, he's music, he's everything. We got to have the whole thing out there. But we're going to wrap this up. We're going to wrap this up here in a few seconds here and with it. If anybody doesn't have any other questions, I don't see any other thing. Thank you guys for coming in here. I don't see any other questions. Nobody else has I got anything. I don't know. We've covered everything today, and I love it. But before we go, we always ask our staple question. And last week, what it is what is your TCB of the day? Which means, what is something positive that you have done that's going to be influential in like the future? So what's your taking care of business today that you want to tell people, that you would want to tell somebody?
This sounds so small, but I've been talking to my daughter. She's having to write an essay for her university course.
Yeah.
And because I'm a writer, she asked for some of my advice, a few better words for the part that she'd written. She said, I want to say this, but how can I say it better? And I said, well, how about this and how about that? And she said, that'll do. And she ran back upstairs and typed it. So I thought, I did my mum influential good deed.
There you go. She did something influential. As a mom, that's right. She took care of business being a mom today. But you know what? That's you are a writer, and I love that you have written this book. I got to get this book from anybody who wants to find your book. Where can we go? Let them know.
Oh, right, okay, so my publisher is Pen and Sword, but you can go on Amazon and just put in Elvis the King of Fashion, or put in Lorraine Gibson, and it'll come up there. Pen and Sword, the publisher, is in the UK, but they send around the world, and Amazon America is on there. Walmart,
there you guys go, you guys.
You have to order online, but they have it. Barnes and Noble, all the big stores, they have it. And I'm on TikTok as Lorraine Gibson Wright.
Yes.
And Facebook and Instagram.
Awesome. Well, you can find her at all those places, you guys. This has been a wonderful interview. I ain't gonna lie. You got to come back again when you get your other book. When you get your other book out, we got to get you another book. You got to do another Elvis book. We'll get you out.
Yeah, I'm mulling things over on that right now.
I love that. You got to have a new book coming out soon, hopefully, and maybe some more Elvis knowledge. We need to spread the word and the love of Elvis. That's all we are here for. But thank you, Lorraine. You are so sweet for being here and being a part of this.
Thank you. thanks for having me.
I
It's great to talk to you, because I watch you from afar and you make me smile so much.
Oh, well, thank you so much. I hope I make y'all proud by representing this Elvis community as well, trying to get him out there, all the love that we do. We got to have it. But anyway, thank you so much again, guys. Give her some love.
Have a good week, everyone.
Yes, have a great week, everyone. Everyone, give her some love, give her some support. Go follow her, and thank you again to Lorraine. We're gonna get out of here. You have a wonderful day, and again, thank you guys, TCB. I genuinely appreciate our guest, Lorraine Gibson. If you want to go follow her, again, give her some love. The video will be coming out Tuesday, so be sure to watch for this episode to come out. And Lorraine was amazing. TCB, guys, God bless.